A proportion is a very specific kind of rational equation. It's an equality of ratios. A over big B equals little b over big B. This equation is called proportion. A is to big A is little b is to big B. So let's say these are in proportion to each other. Given a proportion and given you have three of the numbers, you can find the other by solving. For example, A over big A equals little b over big B. You can solve for A is little big A over big B. And little b equals a big B over big A. Okay. And to find out the capital that is A and B, first we flip the equation upside down. Big A over little a equals big B over little b. Transpose the A and get big A equals big B A over B. Transpose little b, get big B equals big A B over little a. Now, similar triangles are triangles with sides A, B, and C, big A, big B, and big C. Also, the angles, however, are all the same. Angle alpha here and here, angle beta here and here, angle gamma here and here. Now, if they have three equal angles, then the sides are in proportion. Little a is to big A, as little b is to big B, as little c is to big C. There. Okay, so here an example here. Problem 79. The 6-foot tree casts a 3-foot 9-inch shadow, and the same outside in the same sun, a cell tower cast a 75-foot shadow. And how tall is the tower? Assuming these are both have right angle bases, the tree and the tower are straight up, and the sun is in the same direction in the sky. So assuming that these are in proportion, then little h is to 6. Or let's say little h is to 75, as 6 feet is the 3-foot 9 feet. H is in the 75, as 6 is the 3 and 9/12. Well, okay, we can rewrite this as 15/4. So transpose of 75, and get h equals 75 times 6 over 15/4. After a bit of arithmetic, it's 120 feet. So that's how tall the cell tower is. Here we have a simple one. X is the 5 as 15 is the 25. What's x? You transpose the 5, get x equals 5 times 15 over 25. After a bit of work, it's x equals 3. This one's a little more trouble. 4 over y equals 6 over 27. Find y. Well, the first trick, I think, the easiest is to flip both these fractions upside down. So instead of 4 over y, have y over 4. Instead of 6 over 27, you have 27 over 6. Now that means all you need to do now is transpose the 4, move it to the right, get y equals 4 times 27 over 6, which comes out to 18. Inverse and direct variation. Y varies directly as x means that y equals k times x. K is a constant called the constant of proportionality. The idea is that when x, say, doubles, so will y. So they grow and shrink in direct proportion to each other. Y varies inversely as x means that y equals k divided by x. So when x is twice as big, y is half as big. When x is 10 times as big, y is 1/10 as big. When x is 1/10 as big, y is 10 times as big. Again, k is a constant of proportionality, and so here they go in inverse proportionality. Y equals kx is a graph, which is a straight line to the origin. Y equals k over x is this hyperbola, asymptotic to the x-axis and the y-axis. Now here, joint variation is when you have more than one thing going on. Y varies directly as x and inversely as z. So y equals k, k is a constant. X in the numerator, because it's varying directly, over z in the denominator, because it's varying inversely. This is joint variation. Here's a more complicated one. Y varies directly as the cube of z and inversely as the square of z. So we have a z cubed in the numerator and x squared in the denominator times k makes y, and so forth. All right. 5 avocados cost how much if 3 avocados cost $1.98? And I love those prices. Cost is the cost is the 5 avocados is the $1.98 is the 3 avocados. One assumes a direct proportion in terms of cost and number of avocados. So transpose 5 avocados, you get cost equals $1.98 times 5 over 3. After a bit of algebra, after a bit of arithmetic, cost is $3.30. Here's one. The force of gravity on an object varies directly as the force as its mass. My apologies. The force on 5 kilograms is 49 newtons. It's the force on 12 kilograms. Okay. All right. It's 49 newtons to 5 kilograms, as that's 45/5 newtons per kilogram. Mass is 12 kilograms. Okay. This is a simple proportion. Really, I shouldn't make it go to this much trouble. G gravitational constant is force over mass. In this case, it's 49/5 newtons per kilogram. So at force equals G times M, so force equals 49/5 newtons per kilogram. That's G times an M of 12 kilograms. 49 times 12 over 5. After a bit of work, it's 117.6 newtons. Okay. The resistance of a wire is directly proportional to its length and inversely proportional to the square of its diameter. So resistance equals constant times length over diameter squared. If the resistance is 111.2 ohms in an 80-foot long wire with diameter 0.01 inch, what is the resistance of a 160-foot long wire with a diameter of 0.04 inch? Assuming, of course, it's the same metal in both wires. Okay, so R equals KL squared, KL over D squared, and solving for the constant of proportionality, it's R D squared over L. Now plugging in 0.01 R, okay, the resistance is 11.2 here, D squared, 0.01 squared, over L, 80, comes out to, after a bit of arithmetic, 1.4 times 10 to the negative fifth. So if it's 160 feet long, so first K, 1.4 times 10 to the negative fifth, times L, 160 feet, divided by D squared, 0.04 squared. We have this, and with some arithmetic, you get 1.4 ohms. Okay, looks good. Stop the recording.